All right, the long-awaited Glue and Fly series Sport Plane Mini DIY Sport Plane slash 3D plane. I've got the plans ready to go. I've got a link to the plans, the docs, the setup file in the show notes. You'll find it's a zip file, so all these the plans, the documents, the setup file, all three of those PDFs are housed in that zip file, so you can download the zip file and extract all those documents, including the plans. So what I want to show you first is the specs on the plane. All right, so this Sport Plane Mini is 610 millimeter wingspan, which is 24 inches. It's got a length of 650 millimeters, which is 26 inches, and a height, assuming there's no landing gear on it, just the airframe, is 150 millimeters or 6 inches. The motor I used, and I will try to put links in the show notes to either very similar components or the exact components that I used for this project because it worked out really, really well. There'll be a link to the playlist in there too. If you haven't watched this aircraft fly, take a look at it. I got really, really lucky. The prototype version that I took out flew so well it became the V1, so I didn't have to change anything on the plans for this plane. So the motor I use is a 2206 1500 kV motor. It has a 5 millimeter threaded shaft. I put 2 millimeter bullets on it. It's rated for 2S to 4S. The prop I'm using is a Gem Fan 8x38 slow fly tube blade ABS prop. It has a 5 millimeter hub. I'm using a 15 amp ESC that has a 5 volt 2 amp Beck, and I think that's a switching Beck that I have on that. 2 millimeter bullets. The ESC is rated for 2S to 3S. The original plan was to set this up for 2S, and while it was lighter and had pretty good power, it didn't have the amount of power that I wanted, so I bumped it up to a 3S. So you could try it both ways. You could try it running it with a 2S, running it with a 3S. I wanted unlimited vertical, so I'm running it with the 3S, but it will fly perfectly fine on a 2S LiPo and have very good power if you want to fly it that way. The gyro I'm using is a 4-channel. It's a Radiolink Byme-A gyro. I love those plug-and-play gyros for these aircraft. I'm using a WFly RF201S SBUS PPM receiver. So I have a multi-protocol transmitter. The WFly RF201S has diversity antennas. It's extremely lightweight. It doesn't require RF frequency tuning or anything. It supports failsafe. So those are my go-to receivers for just about everything now. The servos I use are Emax 4.3 gram digital servos by 4. So I've got 2 independent servos for the ailerons and then 1 servo for the elevator and the rudder. All right, the LiPo I'm using is a 3S 650 milliamp hour 75C LiPo, and I can get the CG with that just fine. My all-up weight with my landing skids on it is 275 grams. All right, so now let me bring up the setup file. I've got the setup file in there. It shows you exactly how I have my linkage set up on this aircraft with the servo arms and the control horns. My dual rates, I've got 100% set up for everything. My expo shows you what my control surface deflection is, and that is in full manual mode. When you measure your deflection on your control surfaces, is without any gyro input. The CG is where the main wing spar is located, and I have a neutral balance at the main wing spar. If you like flying your planes slightly nose heavy, then you'll want to move your CG a little bit forward of the main wing spar. My launch throttle is 70%, and that works just fine. Okay, so now let's take a look at the plans. All right, so it's a very, very simple design. It's a very, very simple build. This is a 20 by 30 sheet When you have this printed out, I've got a test scale up here. One is 2 inches, the other one is 50 millimeters, depending on how you want to measure it. Those bars should come out exactly to 2 inches or come out to 50 millimeters. I always take a ruler with me when I go to the printer to have my plans printed off so I can measure it and make sure that they printed it at 100% scale. Okay. All right. So the fuselage has a center main section. This is where all of your strength comes from for the airframe. And you can see these 2 red lines here. What I did was I cut slots in the fuselage on the top and the bottom of where your equipment and battery bay is. I used 1 millimeter by 5 millimeter carbon slats. I've got 2 of them in there. Now what you can do, and what I would probably do if I were building this again, save yourself a little bit of time, and I would take 0.5 millimeter by 3 millimeter carbon slats, and I would just glue them flat. I would glue them flat on both sides of the plate. So you'd end up with 4 instead of 2. But I think a 0.5 millimeter thick by 3 millimeter high carbon slat using 4 of them will make it just as rigid, if not more so, than the way I did it by cutting the slot. So I would just, if I were going to build it again, that's what I would do. And I would just lay those carbon slats down, because you're gonna be gluing the other sections of the fuselage over the top of them. And I would just put the bottoms of those carbon slats right along the inside edge of that where your equipment bay cutout is going to be. And then that also gives you something very rigid to glue your motor mount to. All right, you'll notice down here where I've got these dashed lines over here, and I've got a note here with an X to show you that once your fuselage assembly is complete, you cut that section out. I wanted to leave that section there because of this long slot right here where you're going to bring your servo wires through and up into your equipment bay to attach to your gyro or to your receiver. You don't want that flexing, when you're gluing things together. So that's why I left this little section on the front. So once you get everything completed on your fuselage, cut those off. Leave about a 3 millimeter nub, a raised portion, about 3 millimeters on the top and the bottom. And that's going to give you something to glue your motor mount plate up to. Now, I fabricate my motor mounts. I either fabricate them out of a thin piece of plywood, or I will fabricate them out of a rigid piece of plastic. Just depends on what I have on hand. You guys can fabricate your motor mount out of whatever material you want, but I find that rigid plastic and thin plywood works really, really well, and it's really easy to work with, to drill your holes and stuff for mounting your motor on. All right, so that's your center section. This is the only section that I leave the paper on the fuselage. This section right here is your next outer section. There's going to be 2 of those. You're going to fabricate 2 of those. One's going to go on the left-hand side. One's going to go on the right-hand side. That's going to be your next layer on your fuselage. You can see I've got the little squares here for the servo cutouts that will line up with the servo cutouts that you have on your center section. All right, and then these sections up here that I'm pointing to right now, those are the outermost sections of the fuselage that are just going to set, right up against the front of line up with the front of the fuselage, and then go over the top of the main wing plate. And that's all there is to it. Now, I cut out both of these squares on the outer sections of foam when I put mine together, because it's easier to get to your electronics with both sides cut out. But you're going to need to make 2 hatches for that. I'll leave it up to you whether you want to just cut out one side of that outer layer and leave one side solid and just access the equipment bay through one hatch. You could do that, easy enough. And I've got a rectangle here for fabricating your equipment hatch. So the way I put mine together, the way I secured mine was just with very low profile Velcro. That's what I used for the equipment hatches on both sides of mine. Your vertical stabilizer and your rudder are also part of that main section. So to fabricate my rudder, and I also put carbon slat reinforcement in the vertical stabilizer and in the rudder. But right here where I've got this main line, I just scored through the foam to create my rudder without cutting through the paper on the back side of it, and then just folded the rudder over and then beveled a 45-degree angle on it so that it freely moves back and forth. And then I just created tape hinges on the back side of it, and that's worked out great. I did the same thing with the horizontal stabilizer and the elevator, and you can see I've got 2 carbon slats in there. I've got a line there to cut to create your elevator. Same thing, just score the foam without going through the bottom paper, fold it over, bevel your 45-degree angle, and use a tape hinge for it. All right, and then you can mount your control horns on whatever side you want to mount them on. Left paper on both sides of that, paper on both sides of the center section of the fuselage, left the paper on both sides of the main wing plate. And I've got kind of like an A-frame with carbon slats in the main wing. I've got one back by the trailing edge of the wing where the ailerons are going to be cut out, same way I created those. And then one closer to the leading edge of the wing, right on the back side of where your KF airfoils are going to go. And then one carbon slat on this outer edge, trailing edge of the main wing, just to keep the foam nice and straight through the whole length of the wing, and that's worked out really well. Create 2 sections of your template here to create your main wing, and then you've got 2 sections here. You're going to create 2 KF2 airfoils, which are going to glue on top of both sides of your wing. That's going to provide your airfoil for your wing. Okay, so I think that's it, guys. It's if you look at the image of the plane, you can see how everything's put together. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. There's not any guesswork to it. I mean, you can figure it out easy enough. So anyway, take a look at the playlist. See how this thing flies. It's a very, very, very stable, very aerobatic. And with my power system that I've got on it, it's got unlimited vertical, which I absolutely love. It's got really good slow flight capability. It's very stable, and it's a very forgiving airframe too. So that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time in the Tinkerz Lab.